Eric, can you hear anything? I need you to tell me if you can hear anything. Can you hear me now? Okay, wait a minute. I done heard my own voice. Okay. Apparently there's been some audio issues. Apparently there's been some audio issues, everybody. I don't know what just happened in my audio. Um, so apparently I have to plug in my headphones because for some reason my audio just for some reason did not work. I don't know what just happened. I'm gonna find that out for myself. What just happened? So if you guys didn't hear me in the beginning, I had talked about the Ohio State breakout stars regarding um, Leroy Roker, Max LeBlanc, and the fresh tight end Nick Lauder, and left tackle, realistically, offensive lineman Ian Moore. And I had talked about whether or not these guys let me restart this. So all those guys have been having breakouts, and the two offensive linemen that nobody, not offensive linemen, the two players that nobody had talked about as breaking out stars was Max LeBlanc and Nick Lauder, both tight ends, and both of them have been amazing. And I think for Max LeBlanc, this is his redshirt sophomore year, so apparently he's been doing very well. And in all fairness, I'm not gonna lie, it's pretty amazing that this offense that he's going to do super well for Ohio State's offense because with Nate Roberts who showed up to the scene, Brody Ledden, Max Clare, Will Kazmarek, all them dudes. Apparently, for some reason, we all tend to forget about Max LeBlanc, and the fact that he's breaking out at Ohio State could be a key contributor for the team is big. Same with the freshman tight end Nick Lauder, the big 7 foot, the big not 7 foot, but 6 foot tall big dude. So you know it's gonna be amazing for them. What happens moving forward, and I can't wait to see. I already talked about Leroy Worker. Everybody's been talking about him because him breaking out is not coincidental. Him breaking out would be mostly again for Ohio State. The only loss you're going to suffer is you're not having the quarterback of the defense in Caleb Downs. But they're super confident in the secondary, very confident in the safeties because they seem to be in the right place more times than they're not. So, they're super confident about them. Um, Now, I talked about Ian Moore and I said that the offensive line, they're trying out new combinations such as uh, they moved Austin Saraville to right guard, put him at left tackle with Montgomery at left, Carson center, Phillip at tackle, and then they've obviously switched Phillip and Phillip and um, Austin between the two. They switched these two up, which is great to be quite honest. I'm not gonna lie, it's great that they're switching them up at right tackle with Saraville being at right tackle, Phillip being a right guard, and I said that that is the best combination. Now they've tried multiple, such as like Padilla at center, Carson at guard, all them dudes, but the best one is the first one that is the second one that they've been putting out, which is with Saraville and Phillip at switching positions where Phillip is the right guard with Saraville at tackle, and with Ian Moore at left tackle so far. And obviously with Carson and Luke still sitting at the left guard and center. So that's been the best combination for them so far. I do hope they roll that one out because to me that is the best combination. And then I've gone on to talk about some NFL news. Obviously talking about the players who got drafted, the rookie camps, how they're doing so far, how well they have been doing. Um, and I said it before, I think I want to see these guys when they have shoulder pads on, obviously, and when they're actually playing in an actual game, because, it sounds great that a lot of the rookies are doing well. You got some who aren't doing so well, Michigan men, but it's not surprising. I can't wait to see what these guys look like coming in the next year. So here's what and then so that's pretty much about it. Oh, and I even talked about Fernando and Ty Simpson because again, you guys won't be able to hear the first seconds of the audio because something went wrong with it. So, um, so yeah, no, like and I talked about it. Fernando should be sitting behind Kirk Cousins because the Raiders would be doing him a huge disservice if they leave him out there to die because he has too much he needs to work on. Now he should get a little bit more play time, maybe during like games every now and again. You can put some packages out there for him. And again, there's been arguments about Ty Simpson and Fernando, but let's be real. Both them guys are not ready to start. Both them guys should not start. The Rams know this, so they're gonna keep doing what they're doing uh, with um, with Ty Simpson and just have him sit and learn behind Matthew Stanford, and that's exactly what the Raiders should be doing with Kirk Cousins. Have Fernando Mendoza sit behind Kirk Cousins and learn, so that way he doesn't get thrown to the wolves like no tomorrow. Okay, so that's what I talked about regarding the NFL. And when it comes to the NBA, and as I was just talking about, was the Spurs and the Oklahoma City Thunder being the semifinals, not semifinals. The Spurs beating the Timberwolves to claim their semifinals. So what I had talked about was Ohio State was the Spurs beating the Timberwolves, and I said that them versus the Thunders, the Spurs versus the Thunder would be the best overall game out of as well, along with the Cavs and the Pistons, which I'm gonna get into in a minute. But they have been amazing. That series between them and the Wolves was great. But I think the series between the Spurs and the Thunder could go 7 games because they're both really good teams. And that's what I would predict anyway. Now, who would win? That's a little harder. I might pick Oklahoma City just out of habit because they're a good team, but I won't. But I don't want to count out the Spurs because they've been a great team as well. So we'll have to wait and see. I'm gonna do a full on preview with that matchup when we are fully established with the 12-team playoffs. I'm sorry, not 12-team playoff. I'm thinking college football. When we're fully established with the conference title games, because we still got because we don't know who's going to be facing the New York Knicks yet in the Eastern Conference title game. Yet we don't know yet. But I will be talking about the Spurs and the Spurs and the Thunder in the upcoming game of the Western Conference Finals when when the Eastern Conference Finals is officially fortified. So, now that we're at it, let's talk about the Eastern Conference semifinals games. The Pistons and the Cavs went to a 7-game series. They're now at their 7th game, and they're about ready to go toe to toe. And what we're gonna do is talk about this game, and it's gonna happen tonight at 7 o'clock in Chicago time, obviously, really in the mid East time, and in Eastern time, it'll be at obviously 8 o'clock. So we'll start talking about that game right about now. So let's talk about it because these two teams have been going back and forth like no tomorrow. So let's go back on that game, shall we? Let's go back on the last game they just won. And I'm talking about the Pistons. They just won it. Um, so let's talk about this. This was a great game. Obviously, you have the game leaders being Kay Cunningham and James Harden. Um, both almost triple double doubles and almost triple doubles, honestly, in this game. They both were having great games. Let's see here. So pretty much who you have as far as Pistons, you have Cade Cunningham, Dennis Jenkins, Duncan Robinson, which is not surprising, and Paul Reed, who all had a great game. Obviously, Donovan Mitchell actually had a horrible game. He has 18 points, but his shooting was horrible for the most part. It really was. Like his field goals are just terrible. Harden, he had an okay game. Mobley had a decent game. Honestly, I'm not gonna lie. The Cavs actually played terrible in this game. Yet and which led to the 115-94 victory for the Pistons because the Cavs just played absolutely terrible. So let's go and talk about the game stats. The Pistons have 43 field goals to the Cavs 30. The difference here is the Cavs shot 52, I'm sorry, 0.4% of their field goals to the Cavs 39%, which is horrible. Um, so yeah, you can already see the big difference there, along with their 3-point shots and how much they and the percentage of which they made them. So the Cavs had 16. The I'm sorry, not the Cavs. The Cavs had 12. The Pistons had 16. Pistons 44%. 3-point shots. Cavs 34%. That's horrible. The only thing that saves the Cavs is literally the free throws. They have more free throws than the Pistons, and the completion percentage obviously was higher when it comes to the free throws. But the issue is the rebounds. Obviously, we all know that when it comes to the rebounds, offensive rebounds, the Pistons completely out rebound the Cavaliers. Defensive rebounds, they're pretty even. But as well as their overall rebounds, but offensive rebounds is where the Cavs got destroyed. Assist, the Pistons actually won that by 10. Really, no, seriously, they had 25 assists to the Cavs 15. They each have 60. I'm sorry, not 6 steals, 9 steals. With the Pistons, who have 6 shots blocked. Uh, the total number of turnovers is actually pretty even. 20 turnovers for the Cavs, 17 for the Pistons. Personal fouls, obviously the Pistons only had 22, with the Cavs having 18. It's kind of funny. So when I look at this game, the Cavs just basically had a bad game. Now, when I'm looking at this upcoming game, because these two teams have gone back and forth, back and forth, back and forth on repeated occasions, I want to hear you guys' thoughts about this. Who do you think will win the game between the Cavs and the Pistons? Because if I had to pick, like I said, either one of these two teams versus the Knicks would be a great game. Either one of these two. But I kind of want to see the Pistons go toe to toe with the Knicks. Because if the Pistons don't, because if I had to pick, I think I'm going to take the Pistons. If I had to pick, I think I'm taking the Pistons. Only because like they're the number one team in the Eastern Conference. I do think they're a better team. And if I had to think about it as well, if I had to think about it as well. I have to think about it. I think the Cavs have too much inconsistency. Now I know Pistons have their shortage of inconsistencies at times, but I do think the Pistons would be a better matchup for the Knicks. I mean, I know for Cavs fans you don't want to hear that, but it's just truthful. I do think the Cavs are like I think they'll have a great matchup with the Knicks, but I feel like the Pistons and the Knicks will be more exciting. That may be just me, but you know, it's just what can you do, right? So, and again, and if I had to take a guess again for the Eastern Conference Finals, depending on how tonight's game goes, we'll try to preview the conference final title game. So, and we try to stack these teams up against one another. Like I said, for the Spurs and the Thunder, I'm gonna go full in on it when we have when the Eastern Conference title game is finally put into effect between who wins tonight. And like I said, if I had to pick who wins tonight, for me, it's the Pistons. Just for the sake of it. Now, I'm again, I don't want to pick a side here. I would love for it to be the Cavs because, like I said, I think them and the Knicks will have a great series. I definitely think that way about the Pistons and the Knicks as well. So, like again, these two teams going toe to toe with one another is going to be big. It's going to be one of those where we get to see two great teams match up against one another, and we're really going to be able to tell who is great, honestly. So I can't wait to see how this semifinals game between both the Cavs and the Pistons turn out. I'll be watching closely, and I told you guys I'd be doing reactions at some point, like I said. But and I did plan on doing the Timberwolves Spurs, but I kind of chose not to do that. I said, you know what? I think if I want to do my first NBA reaction, I'd rather do it with the conference title games, just to see how they work. Because even though these are some great games, I think that those two games might end up being better for me than um, Cavs and then either of these two games. Even though again the Pistons and Cavs have been a great series, the Spurs and the Timberwolves were a great series. Even if it was only 6 games, that's still a great series. So I can go toe to toe with that. I can live with that. So yeah, no. If you ask me, I'm gonna say I'm gonna take the Pistons. I want you guys to let me know down in the comment section below who do you guys think will advance between the Cavs and the Pistons, and who you got your money on to advance between these two in the semifinals, um, all the way to the conference title game. So that's all I have for today. Is basically just those three things, going over who's breaking out in spring camp between Ohio State, in Ohio State's camps. That's and so a little bit of NFL news, and obviously talking about the Game 5 and Game 6 of both teams. Basically, just recapping those games and how they went, essentially. And and then again, I'm gonna tell you guys this right now. Like, what got the Timberwolves beat was everything I just said. They got the Cavs beat um against the Spurs. Like, that's what cost the Wolves in that one. It's everything that cost the Cavs against the Pistons in Game 6. It's what cost the Timberwolves. So if these teams want to win more games, they got to do better. So I'll tell you that now. Like I said, forget. So in the next show, and guys, I'm gonna tell you this now. I'm working on some graphics that I can put here as part of. Hey, Sean. Yeah, I hope your Cavs do win, but if I had to take a bet, I might take the Pistons. I just might. I don't want to, but and I don't have a dog in this fight. I'm not gonna lie. I do not have a dog in this fight when it comes to the Pistons and the Cavs. Like, I just know both of them would be great matchups. That's all I know. And again, you guys will understand. Like, in the first set, the audio wasn't working. I wasn't really aware. Um, So if you guys have to, just skip until you can hear the audio, or I could try to have Eric kind of edit it to take the parts that didn't have the audio out, that had the audio edited out. Um, so that way we ain't having this problem no more. Hopefully this doesn't happen again, but we'll see. But again, thank you guys for tuning in. Um, Thank you guys for pretty much listening, even if the audio and some technical difficulties tend to happen. It wouldn't be the OHL podcast. It definitely wouldn't be podcasting if there weren't some technical issues, always. So, thank you guys for tuning in. Like I said, make sure you guys hit that like, share, subscribe, turn on those notifications so you never miss another episode of this. The next time we go live, it will be all about the Western Conference Finals and any other news that gets picked up during that time. So, any news that gets picked up from this Sunday to next Sunday. And I'm going to let you guys know this. Every single Sunday from 5 to 6 p.m. Eastern Time, there will be the Spectrum Podcast. So I want you guys to tune in and make sure you guys have a great day. Again, hit that like, share, subscribe. Put in the comment section, who do you think will win between the Cavs and the New York Knicks? Give you a reason why if you want to. But until then, I'll see you guys later. Spectrum out.